beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Hello and welcome to A Beautiful Legacy. I'm your host, Tiago Pinto. Alongside our monthly themes, I occasionally introduce a brand special, an episode that steps back from individuals to examine how a single brand shaped everyday life through accumulated design decisions. Because sometimes legacy is not authored by one person, it is engineered over decades. This episode looks at Alfa Romeo not as a car manufacturer, not as a racing name, but as a belief system. Alfa Romeo is one of the rare automotive brands where identity did not sit on top of marketing or styling. It emerged directly from engineering choices: the sound, balance, proportion, and mechanical clarity. This is not an episode about horsepower. It is about how engineering became identity. Let's begin. From its earliest years, Alfa Romeo treated engineering not as a technical necessity, but as an expressive act. Engines were not neutral components. Chassis were not compromises. Steering was not a parameter to be optimized for comfort alone. Each decision carried intent. The result was a car that did not merely transport, but communicated through vibration, resistance, sound, and response. Alfa Romeo cars spoke back to their drivers. This was not accidental. It was identity formed through mechanics. Long before brand DNA became a phrase, Alfa Romeo already had one, not written in guidelines, but cast in metal.
Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Few brands are as immediately recognized by sound as Alfa Romeo, and crucially, this recognition was never about volume or aggression. Alfa engines were tuned for timbre, for clarity, for resonance. Sound became feedback, a confirmation that combustion, balance, and motion were working in harmony. It was not entertainment layered on top of performance. It was performance made audible. In this sense, Alfa Romeo was amongst the first brands to treat sound as identity, not a marketing hook, but a sensory proof of engineering honesty. You did not need to see an Alfa Romeo to recognize it. You could hear it approaching. Alfa Romeo's history is often cited but frequently misunderstood. Racing was not a parallel activity designed to generate mythology. It was rather a validation loop. Cars raced to prove that engineering decisions held under pressure. Road cars carried those decisions back into everyday life. The relationship was symmetrical. The race car was not a detached experiment. It was an intensified version of the road car. And the road car was never a diluted echo of racing success. This is why Alfa Romeo's competition history feels structurally connected to its production cars. The same priorities repeat: balance, responsiveness, mechanical clarity. Racing was not a story Alfa told. It was a test Alfa insisted on passing.
beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Alfa Romeo cars are often described as beautiful, and many of them really are. But beauty was never the starting point. Design followed mechanics. Long bonnets existed because engines demanded space. Short rears existed because balance mattered a lot. Stance came from handling, not fashion. Proportion was consequence, not styling. This is why Alfa Romeo design ages differently from trend-driven cars. Even when aesthetics change, the underlying logic remains legible. You sense inevitability rather than spectacle. Form did not advise identity, it revealed it. Perhaps Alfa Romeo's most consistent belief was this one: the car exists for the driver. Steering feel was prioritized even when it compromised isolation. Weight distribution was defended even when packaging became more complex. Controls were designed to communicate, not to disappear. This insistence created cars that asked something from their drivers: attention, engagement, and participation. Alfa Romeo never tried to make driving disappear. It tried to make it meaningful.
Beauty, beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Identity, when rigidly defended, comes at a price. As the automotive world shifted towards scale, regulation, cost efficiency, and platform sharing, Alfa Romeo's engineering-first philosophy became harder to sustain. Ownership changes, economic pressure, and industrial realities repeatedly strained the brand's ability to live up to its own standards. This tension is part of Alfa Romeo's story. Alfa Romeo is not a brand of uninterrupted success. It is a brand of conviction, sometimes heroic, sometimes quite painful. When compromises crept in, identity weakened. When engineering regained priority, identity resurfaced. This makes Alfa Romeo a tragic brand in the classical sense, loyal to its beliefs even when the world around it changes.
Beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
The world we inherited from Alfa Romeo is one where driving can be emotional without being irrational, where engineering is allowed to carry personality, where a car can feel alive without pretending to be something else, where identity is not explained but sensed. Modern brands that speak about driver engagement, character, or soul are borrowing a vocabulary Alfa Romeo lived by long before it was marketable. Even when those brands execute better, scale faster, or sell more units, the conceptual groundwork remains. Alfa Romeo proved that identity could be engineered. In a world increasingly shaped by software, screens, and abstraction, Alfa Romeo's legacy feels almost defiant. It reminds us that machines can still communicate physically, that feedback matters, that sound, resistance, and imperfection can be meaningful. Alfa Romeo does not offer certainty, it offers involvement. And that may be its most enduring contribution.
beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
Alfa Romeo never truly explained its identity, and perhaps that's why it endured. It asked drivers to feel rather than decode, to listen rather than analyze, to participate rather than consume. It is not the easiest brand to love, but it is one of the hardest to forget. Alfa Romeo did not build cars to fit an identity. It built identity by insisting that engineering remained expressive. And that, truly, is a beautiful legacy.
Beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were.
You've been listening to A Beautiful Legacy. In these brand specials, we explore how brands accumulate meaning, not through slogans alone, but through repeated decisions that shape how we experience the world. From Shell's visual trust to Pirelli's cultural patronage, and now to Alfa Romeo's engineering conviction, movement reveals itself not only as transport, but as philosophy. Join me in the next episode as we continue uncovering the legacies that quietly structure how we move, shop, and feel. Follow the show and join me again every Tuesday and Thursday. Until then, keep noticing the beauty people leave behind.
Beautiful legacy. Every line, every curve leaves a trace of who we were. In the shape of a chair, in the light on a wall, someone's dream still stands tall. But